I raised them. I just did not know. That is what I was doing. I was 17 when I started packing school lunches for 3 people. I was not their mother. I was their sister. But somewhere between my mom picking up extra shifts and my dad being the kind of man who was physically present and emotionally elsewhere, I became the person who made sure everyone ate. I did not think of it as anything. It was just Tuesday. My name is Claire. I am the oldest of 4. My sister Poppy is 5 years younger than me. My brothers Sean and Jamie are 7 and 9 years younger, which means when I was navigating my own GCSEs, Poppy was 12 and needed help with homework. Sean was 10 and needed someone to sign his permission slips. Jamie was 8 and needed someone to remember. He was afraid of the dark and could not sleep without the landing light on. I remembered. Nobody told me to. I just did. The funniest part, and I say funniest loosely, is that I genuinely thought this was normal. I thought every 17-year-old came home from school and immediately asked what everyone wanted for dinner. I thought everyone spent Saturday mornings at the supermarket with a budget and a list and a 7-year-old who kept putting biscuits in the trolley when you were not looking. Sean put so many biscuits in that trolley every single week. I would find them at the checkout and put them back, and he would look at me like I had personally betrayed him. Then I would buy him 1 pack because I felt guilty every single time. He knew exactly what he was doing, and I fell for it every week for 4 years. Jamie was the sensitive one. He cried at everything. Adverts, books. One time he cried because a pigeon outside looked lonely. I told him pigeons do not get lonely, they are birds. He cried harder. I sat with him for 20 minutes watching that pigeon until it flew away, and Jamie decided it had gone to find its friends. I was 18. I had homework due the next morning. I sat on a windowsill for 20 minutes because of a pigeon. Poppy was the dramatic one, still is. At 13, she told me her life was essentially over because I had washed her favorite hoodie and it shrunk slightly. That hoodie could have fit a doll. She did not speak to me for 2 days. On the 3rd day, she came in and asked me to help with her history essay, and we never spoke of the hoodie again. Mom was there. She worked and came home and loved us the way exhausted people love things, deeply but quietly. She would get home at 9 and I would have already done dinner and homework and baths, and she would squeeze my shoulder and say, "Thank you, love," and go to bed. I applied to university at 18 and deferred a year because Poppy was 13 and going through something I could not name but could recognize, and I did not want to leave. I went to university at 19, 1 hour away by train. Close enough that I came home most weekends for the first year, not because anyone asked me to, because I woke up on Saturday mornings and automatically started making a list of what everyone needed, and then remembered I did not need to do that anymore and then went home anyway. My flatmates thought I was homesick. I did not know how to explain that it was not quite that. Poppy called me every other day my first year, not because anything was wrong, just to talk. She would call on her walk home from school and tell me everything. Her friends, a boy she liked, a girl who had been unkind to her. I would sit on my bed listening to every word and occasionally saying things like, "That girl sounds exhausting," and Poppy would laugh and say, "I know, right?" Sean texted me in the way teenage boys text, almost never, and usually only to ask something specific. "Claire, how long do you cook chicken for?" "Claire, what does defrost mean on the microwave?" "Claire, is it bad if pasta goes mushy?" I answered everyone. At 2 in the morning sometimes. Jamie called me once crying because he had an exam the next day and did not understand any of it. I stayed on the phone for an hour going through his notes. I had my own exam the following morning. When we finally finished, he said, "Claire." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Thank you for always picking up." I had to put the phone down and sit quietly for a minute after that. I graduated at 22. Mom and Poppy and Sean and Jamie all came. Jamie was 16 and somehow taller than me, which felt personally offensive. Sean spent the whole ceremony on his phone. Poppy cried during the procession and denied it. Mom held my hand when they called my name and squeezed it once very hard. Afterward, Jamie said, "Claire, you actually did it." I said, "What do you mean, actually?" He said, "We kept you pretty busy." I did not think you would have time. I laughed for a long time. I am 26 now. Poppy is at university. Sean just started 6th form. Jamie is 17 and still the most sensitive person I have ever met. He texted me last month a photo of a dog he had seen in the park. The caption said he looked lonely. I texted back he probably just found his friends. Jamie sent a single heart. I did not raise them. My mom raised them. Life raised them. They raised each other in the ways siblings do without realizing. I packed the lunches. I bought the biscuits. I sat on the windowsill for the pigeon. I answered the phone at 2 in the morning. I did not know what that was making me. I just knew somebody had to do it. It turned out that somebody was always going to be me. And I think if I am honest, I would not change a single Tuesday of it.